I'm Mai Salazar, bringing you today's burning issues and the hottest news here on Newsforce.
Here are today's headlines. NEDA sees no El Nino impact on Philippine inflation. BOC nabs 3.160 million pesos worth illegal drugs in Makati City. President Marcos Jr. enacts law condoning farmers' death. Philippines and United States reaffirm profound bilateral defense alliance. DOLE helps workers claim 90,000 pesos unpaid wages. Young archers earn spot in the World Archery Youth Championships. Fair and balanced news. Comprehensive reports that will take you to the heart of the action. This is Newsforce.
For today's top story, as of July 10, the country's positivity rate, the proportion of those who tested positive for the coronavirus disease 2019 or COVID-19, had dropped to 6.3% from 7.2% from June 30. According to Octa Research Group fellow Dr. Guido David, the Department of Health or DOH recorded 403 new cases, 0 deaths, and 350 recoveries, projecting 200 to 300 new cases on July 10. About 79 of the new cases are from the National Capital Region or NCR. 4,168,009 COVID-19 infections have been reported nationwide thus far, with 6,606 active cases. National Economic and Development Authority or NEDA Undersecretary Rosemary Adilion said the impacts of the prolonged dry spell brought by El Nino this year will have no significant impact on inflation and the economy of the country. This is following the assurance stated that the Marcos administration is taking steps to mitigate any potential negative consequences of the phenomenon. Although it can be recalled, Pag-asa reported the majority of the phenomenon is yet to start and anticipated to occur around the beginning of 2024. Meanwhile, Department of Energy or DOE assured the public that there will be no issues in hydroelectric power supply despite of El Nino. DOE Undersecretary Rowena Guevara stated that they observed a decrease in demand by approximately 300 to 500 megawatts. However, Guevara warns possible yellow alerts for this month and August, where National Grid Corporation of the Philippines is prepared to prevent power interruptions. President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. gave a directive to the Department of Migrant Workers or DMW to make the Overseas Employment Certification or OEC application process for overseas Filipino workers or OFWs completely free of charge. DMW Secretary Susan Ople stated that before beginning to implement Marcos' instruction about OECs, the agency is waiting for the DICT's clearance of the DMW mobile app to assure its cybersecurity features. Once approved, the OFW Pass, a digital and secure form of the OEC that acts as the digital identity of OFWs, would be included in the DMW app. The pass will be valid for the entire duration and expiration of the OFW's contract. Separately, with the Maharlika Investment Fund nearing completion, the National Economic and Development Authority says that the Philippines will now prepare to attain upper middle income status by 2025. Danisa Lopez for the full report.
According to the National Economic and Development Authority or NEDA, the establishment of Maharlika Investment Fund or MIF is a strategic move by the Philippines to attain development programs and projects in the country. The goal in mind is to achieve upper middle income status by 2025. NEDA Undersecretary Rosemary Adilion said the Philippines is bracing for the upcoming transition. Undersecretary Adilion added that the transition would have effects on the Philippines' fiscal situation and its eligibility in concessional loans, including the official development assistance. Adilion mentioned that once the Philippines reaches its desired status, it would be difficult for the government to get debt financing because they may have to pay higher interest rates. At present, the MIF bill is currently in the enrolled bill status and is in the process of thorough legal scrutiny as it awaits the President's approval. For Golden Nation Network, this is Daniza Lopez.
The Bureau of Customs coordinated with Customs Anti-Illegal Drug Task Force and the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency in arresting an individual holding 3.160 million pesos worth of shabu in Makati City. Jade Buhoy for the full details.
The Bureau of Customs or BOC arrested a person waiting for a shipment containing 3.160 million pesos worth of shabu in Makati City. The BOC reported that the illegal drugs were declared as 2 slices of bread toasters from Pennsylvania, United States. Further, through physical examination and X-ray scanning conducted by the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency or PDEA, it revealed that there were 4 pouches of white crystalline substances that weighed 458 grams inside the bread toasters. It was later confirmed that those are methamphetamine hydrochloride or shabu, categorized as dangerous drugs under Republic Act No. 9165 or Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs Act of 2002. Because of this, a warrant of seizure and detention was charged against the shipment for violating Customs Modernization and Tariff Act under RA 9165. Also, the unnamed 29-year-old male claimant was nabbed through controlled delivery operation by the BOC and PDEA in Makati City on July 5, 2023. For Golden Nation Network, this is Jade Buhoy.
For weather updates, various areas will have cloudy skies and rain showers due to the Intertropical Convergence Zone or ITCZ affecting Palawan, Visayas, and Mindanao, according to the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration or PAG-ASA. Cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms are seen to occur in Visayas, Caraga, Northern Mindanao, Zamboanga Peninsula, and Palawan, while partly cloudy to cloudy skies with isolated rain showers or thunderstorms will prevail over Metro Manila and the rest of the country. Coming up next on Newsforce. President Marcos Jr. affirms commitment to accelerate AFP modernization amid pandemic. Senator Grace Poe raises concern on Maynilad's water supply interruption. President Marcos Jr. enacts law condoning farmers' debt. Stay tuned for more stories and reports when Newsforce returns. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. recently signed Republic Act No. 11953, or the new Agrarian Emancipation Act of 2023, last July 7, to condone the 57 billion peso debt of almost 600,000 farmers. Under the said law, unpaid interest, amortization, surcharge, and penalties of the farmers' existing loans on more than 1 million hectares of land shall be lifted. Meanwhile, Marcos added that equitable land distribution efforts should go hand in hand with the farmers' support services to further sustain their needs. In other news, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. reassured the public that his administration is determined to continue the armed forces of the Philippines modernization plan amid delays caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Daniza Lopez for the full report.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. assured the public that despite the COVID-19 pandemic setbacks, his administration is determined to push for the modernization of the Armed Forces of the Philippines or AFP. President Marcos Jr. said that they had experienced a slight delay in their schedule due to the post-pandemic crisis. However, Marcos Jr. assured the public that they are now working towards the original plan and hope to return to their pre-pandemic position within a year or two. In response to the country's pressing issues, the President held a meeting with the AFP commanders and chief of staff to find effective solutions with the focus on security forces training. As part of the ongoing modernization program, the AFP recently updated its military acquisition plan to focus on acquiring advanced equipment for strengthening external defense capabilities. For Golden Nation Network, this is Daniza Lopez.
Senator Grace Poe is worried about the affected Maynilad customers on the upcoming water services interruption starting July 12. Senator Poe called the attention of the Metropolitan Waterworks and Sewerage System, or MWSS, to have an immediate solution for the almost 600,000 residents who will be affected by the water interruption. The senator also stated that Maynilad is obliged to be responsible in providing efficient services to avoid lessening of consumers' consumption. Furthermore, Poe suggested the importance of having a Department of Water Resources to address the needs in water use, sources, and management. Meantime, the United States Agency for International Development, or USAID, partnered with 15 cities in the Philippines to train out-of-school youth leaders on communication skills, leadership, planning, and civic engagement. The training, organized by CMEO Innotech, aims to boost marginalized youth's voices to be heard and influence city plans and policies to serve their communities better. Further, participants also share that establishing a youth-led governance environment livelihood programs will aid out-of-school youth to develop their communities. Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. and U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin III recently talked by the phone to renew the alliance between the U.S. and the Philippines. After congratulating Secretary Teodoro on his most recent appointment as the country's defense chief, U.S. Secretary Austin reaffirmed the U.S. dedication to cooperating with the Philippines in strengthening the alliance as close allies in the Indo-Pacific area. It was emphasized that much improvement has been developed between the two defense establishments in a short period of time. On to another report, the Philippine Coast Guard, or PCG District Bicol, and the 902nd PCG Auxiliary Squadron carried out relief operations for the PWD and senior citizen evacuees in several public schools in Malilipot, Albay recently. Since Mayon volcano remains at alert level 3, the evacuees abruptly left their households within the danger zones. The 902nd CGAS Camsur, led by PCGA Captain Eric Pabico, significantly contributed to the successful completion of this event. The Philippine Commission on Women, or PCW, conducted Gender-Responsive Local Government Unit, or LGU, assessment training for LGUs in Calabarzon areas. PCW aims to raise awareness and enhance the capability of the LGUs in implementing the assessment tool that secures gender responsiveness in basic services and organizational capacities of government offices. PCW reformed the self-assessment monitoring tool to gender-responsive assessment tool for enhancement of LGU's efforts to boost gender development in their areas. Up next on Newsforce. BSP mandates financial institutions to adopt QRPH for payment services. DOLE helps workers claim 90,000 pesos unpaid wages. Thousands flock to protest proposed Fukushima radioactive water release in Pacific Ocean. Stay tuned for more stories and reports when Newsforce returns. Through the Request for Assistance initiative of Department of Labor and Employment, workers in Iligan City claimed an amount of 90,000 pesos unpaid salary. Jade Buhoy for the full story.
Two workers from Iligan City filed a complaint to the Department of Labor and Employment or DOLE requesting back pay through the Single Approach Entry Program, in which the 90,000 pesos unpaid salary was claimed from their previous employer. Based on DOLE's report, both complainants voluntarily resigned from their former employers and requested their last salaries, including 13-month separation pay and Social Security System or SSS and remitted contributions. With DOLE's decision, the employer settled the request of two workers by paying 50,000 pesos and 40,000 pesos right after the mandatory conciliation mediation conference. In relation to the complaints received in the past, DOLE emphasized the significance of labor standards and the need for businesses to comply in DOLE's policies. For Golden Nation Network, this is Jade Buhoy.
The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas or BSP has given its approval in transitioning all QR code-enabled payment services to the National QR Code Standard known as QRPH. Deputy Governor Mamerto Tangonan provided an overview in the QRPH standard that forms a portion of retail transactions in the Philippines. The standardization of QR codes is anticipated to enhance the overall experience for customers and merchants, thereby promoting the broader adoption of digital payments. For foreign news, Korean citizens are in protest against the release of more than 1 million metric tons of treated radioactive wastewater into the Pacific Ocean from Japan's Fukushima nuclear power plant, while International Atomic Energy Agency or IAEA Director General Rafael Grossi stated that the release of the water into the ocean would have minimal radiological effects on the environment. Although the IAEA determined that the contaminated water was safe to release back into the ocean, the findings did little to ease the worries of the local fishing and environmental communities on the risk it poses. It can be recalled the Fukushima nuclear facility's power and cooling systems were destroyed by the severe earthquake and tsunami of 2011, which led to a reactor core overheating, thus contaminating its plants and water with extremely radioactive material. Furthermore, it was stated there were no alternative options but to release treated wastewater due to the limited amount of space available to retain the contaminated material, which has been in the works for years. On sports, under-18 Filipino compound archers Alon Yuan Hukutan and Gwyneth Cassandra Alexi Garcia both eyed the 9th spot in the World Archery Youth Championships at Limerick, Ireland yesterday. The 17th seed Hukutan beat Germany's young archer Noah Newberg through a one-arrow shoot-off, moving on to round 8 of the tournament. The 11th seed Garcia defeated the young archer of host Ireland, Jess Murray, by 138 to 126. The recurve Olympic round eliminations continue this week before leveling up in the finals. And here's a recap of today's headlines.
Here are today's headlines. NEDA sees no El Nino impact on Philippine inflation. BOC nabs 3.160 million pesos worth illegal drugs in Makati City. President Marcos Jr. enacts law condoning farmers' death. Philippines and United States reaffirm profound bilateral defense alliance. DOLE helps workers claim 90,000 pesos unpaid wages. Young archers earn spot in the World Archery Youth Championships. Fair and balanced news. Comprehensive reports that will take you to the heart of the action. This is Newsforce.
And those were the top stories of the day. Stay updated on the day's biggest stories. Get updates on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Golden Nation Network. I'm Mai Salazar, and this is Newsforce.